What's up, America? How y'all doing tonight? I know it's kind of late. Y'all enjoy the game, America? I told y'all what was going to happen, America. I got my boy Carlos via cellular phone tonight. We wasn't able to get together as a group. And I'm going to pick on Dirk. Dirk was too chicken to do the show with us tonight. So,
Dirk said he had plans tonight, man. He got plans.
Me and him will be doing another review, but we just wanted to do a instant analysis tonight, man. Just for the sake of doing one, man. That was a pretty good game, man.
Fresh right now.
Yeah. We just wanted to let out our immediate emotions, and then we probably gonna go back and I'm gonna go back and watch some film and be able to give a better explanation of what's been going on, as far as the way the game. But anyway, we're gonna get right into it, man. Carlos, man, before I start talking, I wanna hear your immediate takes. Tell me, man, what stood out to you the most tonight?
Well, but before I get to talking about that, you know how they've been changing the league now, more offensive oriented, more pass oriented. More you can't do this, you can't do that when it comes out of defense. It's kind of tough to play defense these days. But it's always so refreshing to always get a realization that in the game of the NFL, no matter whether it's the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s, and this day now where it's all modified offense, defense is still king. Defense still rules. Defense still wins you championships, no matter how they want to change the NFL and they want to make it very soft these days. This game lets you know that defense still wins you championships. Offense sells you tickets, of course. Like I said, Carolina Panthers led the league in points per game. So the offense sold you, as well as Cam Newton sold us, people like me. They sold the media. But defense at the end of the day still wins you championships. And that's what I like to see about that. And of course, that was the game. The game was defense. Because both offenses, let's just be honest, both offenses stuck it up. But I think the Denver defense, first of all, created more turnovers, which I didn't think was going to happen. I thought Carolina, the way they've been playing, they wouldn't turn the ball over as much. But, oh, my goodness, that defense was relentless. I was wrong about that. I mean, I knew they were both good defenses, but I didn't think that Denver defense was that great when it came down just to those two pass rushers. I figure, if you get those two, and I'm talking Ware and I'm talking Von Miller, if you get those two contained, you got a chance. But at the same time, I think the biggest thing that stuck out for me the last couple games for Carolina. You have Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator. He had great game plans for both games. And then when the going got tough against Denver, he didn't get going. He stood back and tried to force Cam to be stand in the pocket kind of guy and throw it. When Cam probably has the best legs in the game, and he did not make Cam bootleg, roll out, any of that. None of that happened, and I didn't get that. I didn't get that part because I understood that both offenses struggled. But the difference is Denver capitalized on defense with turnovers, strip fumbles, and a great field position. That was the difference. Carolina played a great game on defense as well, but I mean they only had the one turnover, which was semi-Peyton's fault a little bit. I mean it was wrong, but I get what he was trying to do. But off of that one play, my goodness, I mean that both defenses killed it, but Denver capitalized on their defense, allow turnovers, allow getting them in good field position. That kind of stuff. So that was what stood out. And I mean, that's a no-brainer choice because defense ruled this game. And and if you know me, man, I love a good defensive game, defensive-minded, oriented game. I just want to give big kudos to Von Miller and to DeMarcus Ware. I knew that they would, make a difference in the game, but I didn't think it would be that big of a difference. I mean, it was from start to finish, they were hounding Cam Newton. Now, Tom Brady's a little different because Tom Brady can't really move, but Cam can move, and that's what I put it on Mike Shula. I don't get why you knew that facing Ware on the left and Miller on the right, or vice versa. You knew that him standing in the pocket and trying to step up, and of course you got Big Wolf coming up the middle, so that Cam can't really step up in the pocket like he wants to. When you got all that going on, I don't know what to say, man. Mike Shula should have had him running out in the pocket, using more of his feet to be a difference maker, and he just never did. I guess I kind of want to say, yes, they say players freeze and players, don't come up big, but at the same time, if you're a coordinator, offense or defensively wise, sometimes you can freeze as well. And I think Mike Shula froze when it came down, especially in the second half adjustments. I think he froze because he should have knew that. If you want to get away from Von Miller, you use your legs. Make Cam, because Cam could do that. There's only a few quarterbacks in the game that could do that. And I think that's what his mistake was. But nonetheless, not taking anything away from Denver's defense because they were awesome. I hadn't seen the defense like that, and I'm being honest with you, probably since, a down defense was maybe the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm just saying that defense is lights out. And when you're talking linebacker play, you're talking cornerback play, and you're talking safety play. All three levels pretty much did their thing. The D-line play as well, excuse me. So all those levels did their thing. And you just got to give big kudos, man, to Denver's defense because they came hounding and they capitalized. You talking strips. They didn't go just for fumbles and for sacks. They went for fumbles. They went for strip sacks, and that's the difference. That put Denver in good field position to score their points because you knew that the Sheriff, yes, thank the Lord he got his second ring, but you knew that he wasn't coming guns blazing like 6-7 years ago. That defense basically carried that whole entire game. And it was a good game, though. Very entertaining. I loved it. I love a good defense-oriented game, and I have no ill fate toward the Panthers or the Broncos. I wish them both well. I'm happy Peyton Manning got his second ring. Hopefully, and I'm saying it's like a 97% chance he retires. But my man Tony Dungy had to sit down and talk to him and let him know don't do anything off of just winning the Super Bowl. So don't make no decisions yet. So, but the big ups of Carolina, they played a hard game as well. The defense, offense snuck it up. Defense for the Denver Broncos is what everyone's talking about and what they should talk about. And let's give big kudos to Wade Phillips. Wade Phillips is one of those guys, you hate him as a head coach, but you love him as a D coordinator. Because he's been in the league for 35, 36 years, I heard, something like that. So he's been there, done that, and he's been great as a defensive coordinator. And not so good as a head coach, but, when you're great and your buddy is defensive coordinator, and that man has been doing it for years, and he brought him, now granted he had good talent for his team, but he put them in the right places. And when you got Von Miller and then big ups to DeMarcus Ware getting the championship as well, when you got those two coming from the edge, man, that's deadly. That's very scary. And I'm gonna be honest, Cam was playing like he was deer in headlights, man. And so I figured they would take care of the ball, but they did not. And the biggest thing was Denver capitalized on turnovers, had a better field advantage with it, and they just. They did what they had to do to win the game, pretty much. And it was play defense, don't make mistakes. They made one mistake, and that was it. But play good defense, and the rest will handle itself. So kudos to Denver for winning the Super Bowl. I'm happy for Peyton Manning riding out in the sunset, hopefully. And, for Carolina, 15-1 doesn't mean you're going to win the Super Bowl. They came a little cocky, and rightfully so. But at the same time, it just didn't look good. And one more thing before I let you talk. I remember it was 16-10, 3rd and 9. I think I want to say it was Von Miller with the strip sack. And I know you saw that play where Cam Newton had a chance to jump on that ball to recover that fumble. And at the last second, he saw DeMarcus Ware, and he decided, I'm not doing that. Boy, was that a big F you to all the Carolina fans out there.
I think he was hurt. Honestly,
who's that?
I think he made a business decision. Yeah, he was hurt.
Oh man, I'm saying, but if you hurt, you got the whole offseason to get back, man. Oh man.
No, I think he was playing hurt bad, like real bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Like separated shoulder bad.
But at the same time, I'm sorry, man. You got to die for that ball. You got to, man. That kind of if I'm a Carolina fan, I'm like, what are you doing, man? That basically turned the game around. You could have kept it a one possession game. after that, and he decided not to jump on the ball.
Well, it's just no guarantee he would have recovered the fumble, though.
Oh, no guarantee, of course. There's no guarantee, but I mean, try. That was my problem. Like, just get on or make an effort. But he obviously did not make an effort to get on the ball. Yes, probably because he was hurt. At the same time, I mean, I've seen even batted up, gutsy players go ahead and jump on that ball.
Well, that tell you a little bit about the person. That's all that does.
Oh, exactly. But I mean, that play was probably, in my opinion, that kind of like turned everything around. Like that let you know who was in it to win it, who was not in it to win it. That let you know that Cam was kind of like in his mind, damn, this game is kind of over because these boys are coming at me and I don't know what to do. And after he did not jump into football, I figured, oh yeah, there's no way. Like, he's out of it. Like, Denver has crowded him so much. They've hit him physically just about every single play, made him run for his dear life every single play. That one play, he was like, you know what? This is not for me. Not right now. I'm gonna let them have it.
That was everybody that Denver played this year, though. That was everybody that they played. Which is my thing going into the game. They had just done that to 2 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Not to mention, I'm not sure if Ben Roethlisberger won the MVP. I don't think he did in the Super Bowl, but I know Tom Brady has on multiple occasions. And my thing going into the game was that Denver, first of all, since week 1 when they beat Baltimore, this was how they beat Baltimore. And all the way through, they were never in any offensive type shootouts. This was the way they played all year, and this is the way they won every game they played. So once they beat New England, which I figure is one of the hardest teams to beat, I don't care who they got, who in the lineup, who not. As long as they got Belichick and Brady, if you can beat them, you can beat anybody. Just based off of doing, game planning and getting your guys ready to play that game. However, with all that being said, I know what a lot of people are going to say. I'm going to be watching and listening tomorrow to the, the reaction. Right now, everybody's probably just soaking it all in because a lot of people did pick Carolina to win this game, and that's fine. This is America. It's a democratic country. You pick who you want.
Right.
But I hope this is a lesson to a lot of people that just because a team was, only lost one game or looked like they were the clear-cut favorite doesn't mean that the other team not going to be motivated to play in the game. And I think the moment Cam Newton was hit on that first strip sack and fumble, I thought that set the tone for the game right there because that let him know that he's going to end a defense that he hadn't played all this year. And that was big because they were the team that came in with the number 1 offense, if I'm not mistaken, averaging, 30 points per game. And tonight they only found the end zone once. That's not just a credit to just the individual players, or, DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller. Everybody played a role in that, especially, Wade Phillips being the coach and all. But, man, I used to be a big offensive guy too myself, but over the years, I've been learning the teams that do win the championships are the ones with the defense.
Exactly, yes, sir.
And all the talk was, well, even if they got enough defense, well, what will Peyton? Peyton ain't going to be able to move the ball enough to get them. Well, Peyton ain't really been able to do too much this year, but yet they still were winning games, I know Brock came in and he done a little bit more than what Peyton was doing, obviously, because he was healthier. But this is the way Denver's been playing all year. They made elite quarterbacks, elite offensive players look like pretty much scrubs, for lack of better terms. And I'm sorry, Cam Newton, you were no different tonight. You were just you were just another casualty to the Orange Crush too, if we will. We're gonna have to get them there because they were elite in their own right. So Orange Crush might not even do them justice. They're going to have to come up with something else for these guys because these guys were amazing, man. They were everywhere. And, and just, man, it just was very, very, very inspiring to watch them play tonight, man. Now, as far as, I heard you mention something about, offensive game planning and Mike Shula. I don't know if there was too much they could have done differently, because as I was trying to state before when we done our preview, most coaches are going to go into a game like this pretty much not wanting to change too much. You know, football players and especially coaches, they seem to be pretty, you know, religious people, meaning that they not in the sense of, you know, we talking religion, God and all of this. We talking, you know, they don't like to change too much stuff. So going into the game, it's kind of easy to game plan for, because you know most coaches not gonna change too much, especially when you're 15-1. You're gonna do what you know, and then you just gonna hope that your execution over the year will carry into this game. And I thought that Carolina came in doing what they normally do, you know, trying to, you know, run with the read option, and then, you know, when they having success with the run, they take their shots down the field. The problem was they couldn't never get the run going, and then they forced Cam Newton into some long third downs. They made him sit in the pocket, and he just couldn't deliver, whether he just didn't have time. And some plays he did have time, and he just was inaccurate. You know, he was missing guys high, long, this, that, you know, you name it. So I thought he was rattled from the onset, though, man. They put so much pressure on him, but it just goes to show. I know he had all that time against Arizona, but that was because they didn't get no pressure on him. We watched him. He was throwing into, you know, gargantuan windows to, you know, guys wide open down the field. But tonight he played a better secondary and an outstanding pass rush, and they were able to, if they weren't getting to him just by, you know, the initial rush, they would make him hold the ball too long, you know, while he was waiting for his deep routes to develop. And then, you know, he was getting sacked that away. The only time he really had a little success throwing the ball was when he got rid of it quickly. But that's not in Carolina's offense. You know, that was kind of something they tried, but they're not really built that way. They're built to, you know, run the football and then, you know, take some shots based off of the play action. And they could never really get, you know, anything consistent going. The other thing was that Denver was actually able to run the ball against that front seven. You know, something that, you know, I didn't think they could do as well as they did tonight. You know, once again, it wasn't, you know, gaudy numbers or anything, but it was, you know, the quality of the runs, the timing of the runs. You know, anytime it seemed like they needed a few yards to make it shorter for Peyton, you know, they did that, you know. And I thought that helped not only, you know, not even just scoring points, but turning the field position over. There was a lot of times where they you know, got a first down, then punted it right back to Carolina. But if you noticed, they never really got pinned in their own territory to where they was giving to Carolina a short field too many times and putting their defense in too many bad situations. And the few times they did, the defense was able to bail them out by either getting a sack or a turnover. So it was an all-around team effort, man. I'm just excited for Peyton. I heard you allude to this as well, man. I hope he get out. As I was saying all before, man, I was hoping that he would stay and play one more year. But, man, I can't tell you, man, I was nervous the whole game. And even though I still think Peyton can play, I don't want to have to sit there and sweat and watch him the whole game, hoping he don't blow it some kind of way. You know, not just because he's an incapable quarterback, but because, you know, you can tell sometimes he wanted to make a play here and that, and it just wasn't there. I'm like, no, man, just protect the ball and punt it back because you got the best defense in football. Don't try to do too much now. You don't need the MVP. You just need to win the Super Bowl. And, you know, thankfully he didn't make too many mistakes and put his team in too many bad situations to where they can come, you know, where they couldn't overcome it. But, yeah, my overall reaction, though, to sum it up was, man, that defense was elite. Probably one of the best defenses. I'm going to sit down and look and watch and go back and do some number crunching. But it's definitely, I would have to say, it would have to go down as at least right now, a top 10 defense all time.
Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I don't know how far up the ladder they're going to be just yet. You know, but they definitely done crept into the top 10.
Oh, yeah. Then it felt like that. It kind of felt scary. Even though you knew that, man, Denver was up 16-7, 16-10. Every time the Broncos got it, you just like, man, just don't turn the ball over because the defense is playing lights out.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
It felt like the whole game. Cause I was saying the same thing. I was telling my wife, you know, she's a big Broncos fan too. And I'm going to give a shout out to my wife, you know. I get tired on my show. I'll give her a shout out. But
I feel that.
But
I feel that.
she gonna love that. But the whole time she was saying, she's like, Peyton, just don't turn the ball over because the defense gonna hold us down. Keep getting that bad field position for Carolina, man. And Carolina can hold it. It felt like every single time he got the ball, you're like, man, Peyton. Every time it was second long or third long, you're like, just don't turn the ball over,
exactly.
man. It was good.
Exactly.
So, yeah, on that point, I think it is time for Peyton to roll out, man. But if he does roll out, man, I love it when you roll out with a bang. Win that championship, man, and get, what they say, go on, get a title and run. Just get that title, man, and run, man. Just go ahead. Because no one's going to wear performance. I said this, I don't know if it's part of the podcast. I can't remember the podcast of my show. I said, regardless if Peyton has 5 yards or 300 yards, at the end of the day, all they're going to remember is Peyton Manning has 2 Super Bowl rings. It's that where we live in. They're going to remember that. And so when they say, well, Peyton, greatest of all time quarterback, 2 Super Bowl rings. Now you can't say, well, he just got that one. No, now you can say he has 2, regardless of how he played in this game. So now that was my whole thing. His legacy would now be up there, Mount Rushmore, as, in my opinion, the greatest quarterback now, playoffs and regular season, because now he has 2 rings. So if you want to say that, I just put him greatest quarterback of all time now. And that was, he was fighting for that. So I said regardless, because I knew he had a great defense. So that's why I always said if he had through 5 yards or, 500 yards, and they still won, that's all they're going to remember 10, 20 years from now. They say Peyton Manning, 2-time Super Bowl winning champion, quarterback. So, shout out to Peyton. You kind of trusted Peyton with the ball more, especially during like the second quarter. You kind of realize what kind of game it's going to be. And you're like, man, well, I trust I trust Peyton with the ball a little more than Cam now. Or should I say the Carolina Panthers, because you had Mike Tolbert. Goodness gracious. What his first 2 carries, 2 fumbles? Man.
Yeah, pretty much.
You wasn't ready for the Super Bowl, man. You wasn't ready. I give credit that the second fumble was a helmet to football.
Yeah, that just was a good shot. That's how they teach you how to tackle. When you're coming up, that's how they teach you how to hit.
And that was a great hit. But at the same time, it's a Super Bowl. You got to be more careful, man. Like, you got to be careful. And Denver defense capitalized on that, man. They made turnovers. They went for strip sacks all the time. And don't get me wrong, wasn't it like 5 turnovers the whole entire game? Like, man, 4 or 5 fumbles.
I think combined, yeah. Combined,
yeah. The Super Bowl record, I believe, whatever it was combined for. It was, but the defense was, both defenses were now, people look at the 24 points and see that, Denver probably put up some points. No, Carolina on 2 possessions were put in bad positions, and Peyton, being the sheriff he is, he's capitalized on it in the running game. Like I said, the running game found decent holes. They didn't do a lot damage wise, but they did enough to keep momentum headed. So every time they got a 5 yards. Now it's second to 5, and now you just want Peyton to get that first down, regardless of. Peyton probably went 11 straight possessions at one time without a third down conversion. But you knew that, they're grimy. I said it earlier. It's a different Denver team. See, people are going in. Vegas is saying, I don't know what how much Carolina was favored by. I didn't even check into that. But I'm guessing it's more than a touchdown they're favored by. I guess I got to guess. So they were all thinking about the Seattle game 2 years ago. And I said, well, hold up. Even though I still had Carolina winning, I said, Denver's going to still punch some boys in the mouth because Denver is a different team. They're grimy. They have a more defense oriented. I kept saying that. And, even with me saying that, I was still shocked about how good this defense really is from Denver, because they came at it, and they knew their positions. They knew where to play it.
Who else was saying that? Who else was saying that though, Carlos? If I might interject, who was saying that?
What's that? Saying what?
Who else was saying Denver was going to be tough tonight? Who else was saying Denver was going to slow down Cam Newton? What's the one person you heard? What's the one person you heard saying that? I just had to throw that in there.
No, I hear you. And like I said, you're more of a Broncos fan. You pay way more attention to that and you understood. Yeah. But at the same time, to the general public, and I guess I can kind of include myself to the general public. Now, I knew that both teams had great defenses, and like I said, Carolina, like they played a great game. They did let some plays go, a couple passes to Emmanuel Sanders let go, but besides that, man, they played a great game too. They were just left in some very, very bad situations on 2 or 3 times with fumbles from the Carolina Panthers offense. So I think, how would you think if the game was minus the takeaways? It'd probably been a lot more even out. It'd probably been like a low scoring game. Maybe like I don't know, 13 or 14 kind of game, something like that. But with the turnovers, that helped big time, and it gave Peyton Manning the short field and for that defense to get a couple of field goals in. And of course, you got Carolina who missed a field goal earlier to kind of chip into the game, and so things like that made. I just think Carolina didn't come to this game like mentally prepared to want to get it. Like they don't. It's like Denver just wanted a whole lot more, and it's I don't know if that comes down to coaching or preparation.
I don't know. I just think Denver was just better. I just think as far as the thing, I mean, going into the game, the thing that was hyped up about Carolina, everything was so wrapped around Cam Newton this, Cam Newton that. Offensively, that the defense was pretty much forgotten about going into the game, even though they do have a pretty good defense on that side of the football. That definitely showed. But everything was wrapped around Cam Newton. Let's just be honest. He was the talk of the town. He was the MVP. So rightfully so, he was going to be the guy to win the game for him. But matter of fact, multiple, sources and, football experts were saying that the Carolina Panthers would not have been in that game without Cam Newton, without him being at the controls of the offense. So with that being said, I think when you got guys like Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, I just don't think that line was quite ready for that kind of thing. I don't think they weren't. Because they hadn't faced anything like that. I mean, I know the Cardinals had a great defense too, and everybody was trying to compare them, but they didn't have that type of pass rush that would come at them, and not just DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller, but people forget how deep Denver was. They got 2 rookies, Shane Ray and Shaquille Barrett. They only really brought in Von Miller on third downs and long yardage situations. He wasn't even
pretty much, yeah.
So that just goes to the depth that they built on defense. And then I was telling y'all about the secondary the other night. They are pretty much 3 deep at corner, 3 and 4 deep at corner, and then they got 3 safeties they can rotate in and out. So when you got so many different bodies you can throw at an offense, nobody never gets tired because they're never on the field too long. Just keep that relentless pressure on a guy like Cam Newton, and sooner or later, as they say, pressure busts pipes.
But yeah, you're right. I think they give the credit, like you said, to Denver's depth as well. I think that's probably the difference as well. I think Carolina has the better overall quote unquote stars.
Yeah, I think they got the more Denver, talent. Yeah,
but Denver has more depth to each position, and you're right about that. Because I was telling my wife, because she didn't know about Shane Ray, and I was like, for his marijuana issues he dropped in the draft, and that's how Denver got him. It's funny how he had marijuana.
Yeah, he was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, he was SEC Defensive Player of the Year. So, and that's where the big boys at.
And he's the one that,
according to Dirk, anyway.
Or something. But I was telling him about it. I was like, he dropped in the draft that was a steal right there, and that adds depth to your team as well. They came out, but big ups. DeMarcus came to Denver last year, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. Boy, Dallas got to be sick to their stomach. And I love it when a former Cowboy, comes to the team and dominates to get the championship, because he should have stayed in Dallas. They were crazy for letting him go.
Well, I think it came down to money and age and injuries and stuff.
When you're Jerry Jones, and of course he was injured a few years, but man, he played. Yes, I know Von Miller won MVP, and deservedly so too. But man, DeMarcus Ware was no slouch either. He was on Cam Newton every single play, and he plays the run just about as well he played the pass too. So he was there on first, second, and third down most of the time.
Yeah, and Derek Wolfe and Malik Jackson, they done an outstanding job on that front.
Exactly. But my thing is when it comes to I kept saying about Mike Shula. I understand that you go into a game with a game plan and you want to stick to it, man. But at the same time, it's a Super Bowl. When it's a Super Bowl, you got to prepare for everything.
Yeah, but
it's one game for all the marbles. I mean, I'm preparing for everything.
But what else could they have tried?
I mean, but that's my point. They didn't even try it.
No, I'm just saying from a coach's perspective, if you were the coach or you were Mike Shula, what you think they could have done to increase their chances?
Let him go outside. I mean, just try it, because him staying in the pocket, it wasn't doing him no justice. I'm saying when you got that kind of guy with that dynamic, at least try to roll him out to make something happen. I understand Corey Brown was out in the second half for concussion, and now you're losing all your players and all that. But at the same time, man, try and run him or try and spread the team out. That's my point. They never tried. Like, you got to do something, because that stand in the pocket just wasn't working at all. And, of course, Kelvin Benjamin and the lack of wide receivers, you talked about it too for the last round. You said that the wide receiver bunch was garbage, and we try to say they're garbage, but maybe they might have one or two plays they know that's big. None of those plays actually happened. Someone called like a 30-yarder. It's an unknown guy. I forgot his name already. It was like number 12 or 17 for the Panthers. I forgot his name. But he had like 120-something yards.
Philly got one big one before he went out with the concussion.
Yeah. But besides that, man, it was awful. And them missing Kevin Benjamin, and I don't think Kevin Benjamin would have made a difference anyways in the game. But that was their problem, even when they were not good the last couple of years, was their wide receiver depth. And I know that for a fact, because I mean, my Saints in the NFC South with them every year, and you just know, like, they have no wide receiver depth at all. And I think that's probably where they go into the draft. Their needs, maybe it's wide receiver. But besides that, man, they were sorely missing on receiver help. And then, of course, like you said, when they did get open, Cam just by that time it was road, man. He couldn't hit no one to save his life, man, because he was too busy trying to get away from the pass rush. Because he had a few guys open, but he just couldn't see them because the pass rush was there. And that's what you want, man, a great pass rush. I always tell people, I don't understand why coaches don't go for this. In order to win, your defense is built from your front four or front five, man. I understand that Von Miller plays more of the DN position than linebacker. He's considered a linebacker. He will drop back every now and then. Against Patriots, he caught an interception. He will drop back a few times. But besides that, he's more of a DN. But I always tell him, like, why don't you worry about your front four first? Because your front four, if you want a great defensive team, the front four, think about it. Even with the Giants, when they beat the Patriots, though, they always had a great front four. Think about all your Super Bowl winning champions the last 6, 7, 8 years. They've always had a decent or a good to great front four. I think the worst team to make it was, you're probably talking the Saints maybe in 2009. I mean, we had a lot of takeaways, but
they just was a product of takeaways, which in all reality, that's what Carolina's defense was. They led the league in takeaways this year.
Yeah, at the same time, man. I mean, but they had a decent front four. You're talking Will Smith leading them. It was decent. So I'm saying, if you want to win championships, man, you got to get a front four.
See,
I think Denver did that. Denver, like, when they lost against Seattle, John Elway, and you pointed out too, John Elway, he said straight up, man, I'm done with this high-octane offense. Let's go with a defensive-oriented team. Let's run the ball like we did back when I was quarterback, when I had Terrell Davis. Let's go ahead and run that ball. Let's play good defense, great defense. We got to know. Let's go get these players, and it worked out, man.
That's just an important part of what I was trying to say the whole time. Them changing their philosophy wasn't a product of the lack of success or effectiveness of Peyton Manning, if you will. He wanted to get tougher. But the thing about it is, I heard you mention, a lot of teams are afraid to do that because that doesn't sell tickets. People forget that half of football for a lot of those owners is making money, not necessarily winning Super Bowls. The other half of it is making money, and what makes the money for the guys and gets the butts in the seats is the high octane offense.
Exactly.
So